You are listening to Greg and his friends talk sports. 10 to 20 minutes every day, Greg and his friends are talking about what Central Indiana sports fans are talking about. Every day on the Central Indiana Sports Report.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, Central Indiana sports fans, whenever you've tuned in to the Central Indiana Sports Report. Producer Susie and I are so happy to have you along with us. I'm your host, Greg Mingel, and this is my new daily podcast, Greg and his friends talk sports. About 10 to 20 minutes every day, my friends and I talk about what Central Indiana sports fans are talking about. Coming up, Purdue loses at home again, third time this year, this time to number 1 Michigan, and it was not pretty. I hope to have my friend Jake Dunn join me to talk about it. He's traveling right now, so as I voice this, still not sure if that's going to happen, but we hope to have Jake Dunn coming up. Plus a full slate of boys basketball. I talked to Muncie Star-Press sports editor and my friend Cade Hampton about Yorktown's 6th straight win. This went over Muncie Central. Before we get to all of that, I want to let you know what's going on at the Central Indiana Sports Report. Along with Greg and his friends talk sports every day. We have a Purdue report later Wednesday. We'll go more in depth with Jake about Tuesday's loss and what it means. And we'll have a preview of Friday's Purdue IU game on Thursday's show with our IU guys, Grant Schaus and Mike Hutzel. And we'll hear from them and Jake again after Friday's game against West Lafayette. Also, we have an IndyCar report on Thursday. Please check that out. Thanks for joining us. My friends and I will be back tomorrow and the next day. And the next day, and the day after that. As it turns out, Jake had a work meeting today that ran long, and he is now traveling, so he wasn't able to join me. So I'm just going to share my thoughts on what happened on Tuesday night at Mackey Arena. Also, that reminds me, programming note, the Purdue report will be Thursday this week instead of Wednesday. Looks like 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Thursday. Here's what I have to say about it. It's disappointing. The entire season really has been disappointing, which says a lot about this program. I mean, they're 21-5 and ranked 7th in the country. But there's no doubt it has been a disappointment. 3 home losses for the team that came into the country ranked number 1. It's hard to spin that as a positive. And the first 15 minutes on Tuesday were just absolutely atrocious. The issues that have been plaguing them all year, the defensive rebounding and the perimeter defense, really hampered them as they fell behind 25-11 and 42-22. Purdue whittled down the lead to 8 points with a couple of minutes to go, but they were never really a threat in the second half. And I understand it's not easy to play 100% when you're up 20 at halftime. I get it, but the Purdue team that played the last 25 minutes on Tuesday night can beat anybody. Braden Smith was 0 for 4 in the first half and went scoreless. He scored 20 in the second half. He needs to be the player he was in the second half more often if this Boilermaker team is going to have success in the postseason. And Trey Kaufman-Renn scored 27 points, had 12 rebounds, and was absolutely tremendous most of the night, at least offensively. We need more minutes from Daniel Jacobson, Jack Benter, and Omer Mayer. I think those 3 looked too good to be sitting on the bench, and Meyer was great in his 15 minutes on Tuesday night. So we're going to put it behind us. Our confidence-o-meter is low, but it's still February, and this thing is far from over. The team that played in the second half on Tuesday night is capable of beating anyone. Of course, that begins on Friday night at home against the Indiana Hoosiers. Should win that one. Maybe that'll start a long winning streak that continues through the NCAA tournament. Grant Schaus and Mike Hutzel, our IU guys, will join me on Thursdays. Greg and his friends talk sports to preview that one. It was a big night in the Big Ten with almost all of the contenders in action. Number 9 Nebraska was beaten at Iowa 57-52. The number 9 Cornhuskers have lost 4 of 6 since their 20-0 start. Also, number 15 Michigan State beat UCLA 82-59, and Ohio State took out Wisconsin 86-69. So the race is really down to Michigan and Illinois. The Wolverines have a 2-game lead on the Illini, but they visit Champaign on February 27th. And host Michigan State in the regular season finale. By the way, Michigan takes on Duke Saturday at 6:30 in D.C. That should be a great one. Bing Humrickhouse and the Illini are at USC tonight. In the MAC, Ball State fell 69-57 at Ohio. The Cardinals are now 8-18. But the big story in the MAC is Travis Steele's Miami Redhawks, now a nation's best 25-0 after beating UMass on the road Tuesday night. Former Carmel star Pete Suter led the Hawks with 23, and freshman Justin Kirby from Fisher scored 3 off of the bench. Miami still can't pull away from Akron, though. Akron is 21-5 and 12-1 in the MAC after winning 90-73 at Western Michigan Tuesday. The Zips are in Muncie on Friday. To some high school basketball on Tuesday night, Frankton beat Daleville 78-49 for its 9th straight win. The 16-7 and 12th ranked Eagles were led by 21 points from Trey Bennett, 19 from Ethan Stansberry, and 16 from Ashton Brobston. Oak Hill scored 28 first quarter points and 48 first half points. They had 6 3-pointers in the first 8 minutes and a 71-48 win over Tipton. RJ Sugar and Will Tonigal scored 19 points apiece, and Jace Tonigal 11 points, 10 assists, and 5 rebounds. Peyton Aller led the Blue Devils with 16. The Golden Eagles are now 17-1. Caden Jones scored 24 points in Eastbrook's 54-27 win over Wabash, the Panthers' 11th win of the year. Also in Madison County, Don Bowling scored 24 points in Anderson's 54-38 win over Shortridge. The Indians improved to 13-7. Cooper Sims scored 28 points, had 4 rebounds and 4 assists in Pendleton Heights' 55-34 HHC win over Newcastle. The Arabians now 15-4 on the year after their 3rd straight win. In Howard County, NCC champion Kokomo won its 8th straight 79-59 over Indianapolis Metropolitan. Corbin Hamill finished with 21 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals for the Wildcats. Hamill passed Brad Seabury for 12th place on Kokomo's all-time scoring list. He now has 1,076 according to Dean Hockney. Eastern won its 6th straight game and 11th in their last 12 with a 73-29 win over reigning 2A state champion Clinton Prairie. Colton Lindsay is on fire. He finished with 27 points and passed Jimmy Rail as the county's 4th all-time leading scorer. Tristan Armigan added 22 points on 11 of 13 shooting, according to Mark Saluki. The Comets are now 13-7. In Hamilton County, Sheridan won for its 8th time in its last 9 games, beating Western Boone 72-44 behind 34 points from Trey Page. Page went 6 for 9 from behind the 3-point arc, and the Blackhawks are now 16-3. Westfield topped University 71-49. Drew Hafner 32 points for the 12-7 Rocks. Josh Henderson 18 for the 13-7 Blazers. Burris won its 8th game of the season, beating Southern Wells 59-37 Tuesday in Pinedo. Sophomore Sam Isam led the Owls with 21. Wabahani beat Bethesda Christian 71-50. Delta beat Rushville 67-45 for its 8th win in its last 10 games. And Yorktown won its 6th straight, beating Muncie Central 70-53 on Tuesday. Here's my friend Cade Hampton of the Muncie Star-Press with some details of Justin Ullom's victory over his former team.
Sixth win in a row tonight over Muncie Central. Very, just impressive win. Really seemed like it was going to be a kind of back and forth offensive shootout there in the early goings of that game. I think it was really, back and forth, neither team really going on a run up until it was like 23-23, 26-26, something like that. And then Yorktown finally threw the first significant punch with a 13-0 run at the end of the second quarter, and from there they just kind of took care of business. Really impressive. They're starting to mesh, starting to figure things out, starting to click offensively and defensively, and you're seeing the results. They're stacking up wins.
Team seems really balanced.
Absolutely. I think that's a big thing that's helped them is they have a lot of, scoring options. They have 2 really good guards in Zayden Zoud and Mason Trammell who can score kind of from every level. But they pass the ball around really well. And then you've got Jabin Barnes and Sam Tokar on the inside. And those 2 really showed out tonight, not just scoring the ball, but also rebounding the ball. I think Sam Tokar had a 12-point, 15-rebound double-double. And then it was 14 or 15 kind of unofficial stats there, but definitely in double-double range for him. And then Jabin Barnes, he tied his season high with 21 points tonight. Wouldn't surprise me if he also had a double-double. You mentioned the balance, and yeah, they can beat you inside, they can beat you outside, and they can beat you anywhere defensively. That has really been kind of the big thing that they've started to figure out is the defensive side of the ball. So really gave Central some trouble after that first quarter. The Bearcats came out hot, but the Yorktown defense really didn't surrender any easy looks after that first run that they put together in the second quarter. Central just could not get anything to go, and then second half, it was just Yorktown just chipping away, pulling ahead, and ended up winning by, I think it was almost 20 points was what that final gap was. So,
and unfortunately, it seems like we've been saying this for too long, but big things are ahead for Muncie Central.
Tonight was a very interesting matchup in terms of the storyline, obviously, with Justin Ullom, the Yorktown coach, having coached at Muncie Central the last 3 years, and then this offseason resigning from that position and landing at Yorktown a few weeks later. But,
he was on this show yesterday.
Yeah, of course. And so, obviously, there were some of those emotions involved, especially on the Central side. I think a lot of the kids on that team kind of wanted to beat their old coach. That's just how it goes. But they definitely have some really good young talent. Jackson Johnson is very good. Carlos Eccles Jr. is very good. And they have some really good some older players, too. I mean, Shamar Taylor did some really good things. I think he led the way again tonight. He had 15. Landon Wells out there is playing really nice. And Doiron Montgomery does some really nice things for him. He's got a lot of athleticism there. So they certainly have the talent, the pieces. Talking to Jeff Holloway, then, after the game, he said that he wants them to really kind of start figuring things out defensively. He said when a kid is not shooting the ball well offensively, they kind of get down on themselves. But when a kid's not playing great defense, you don't see them really get as frustrated and get as down on themselves when they're not playing good defense. So he mentioned that he wanted to see them maybe get a little more upset with themselves if they give up as many good looks as they did tonight. Like I said, they certainly have the pieces. When their offense is firing, like that Marion game where they put up 90 points, that's a tough team to stop. But they're young. They got some growing up to do, some learning. But they'll definitely be a team to watch for the foreseeable future, I would say.
Cade, a lot going on. What are you working on at the Star-Press?
We got it's exciting times here in East Central Indiana in the sports scene. We've got some wrestling state finals coverage coming up this week and this weekend, and we also have Monroe Central girls basketball still going. They'll be playing at the 1A North semi-state bracket at Huntington North on Saturday, so very excited about that. And of course, Ball State is still going on, so we got Ball State women's basketball story coming later this week. And also want to give a shout out to another county area head coach, Mark Detweiler at Delta, hitting 400 career wins tonight with a big win over Rushville. So obviously wasn't at that game. Had to, I was at Muncie versus Yorktown, of course, but just shout out to Coach Detweiler, big time accomplishment there. And we'll have a story out on that as well here shortly. So exciting times, a lot going on.
Cade, I hope you'll join us on Friday to preview the big Ball State Miami game on Saturday.
That's going to be a huge one. Very pivotal game as far as winning the MAC regular season title. Obviously, you got to win a couple more games to really lock that in for the Cardinals. But that's gonna be pivotal, and especially in terms of the MAC tournament seeding as well. Even with the regular season title still kind of up in the air. That's going to be a big one.
One quick high school basketball note. Fishers is now ranked number 1 in Andy Villamarzo's top 25 high school public school teams. Andy is from on3.com. In IndyCar, David Malukas was fastest in Tuesday's first oval test of the year at Phoenix, which has been added to the schedule this year. His new Penske teammate, Joseph Newgarden, was second, and the guy he replaced at Penske, Will Power, was third. Their cars are back in the track right now for day 2 of testing, and Elijah Poe and I will have an IndyCar report later Thursday. Some Olympics news. After a disappointing start to her 26th Olympics, American skier Michaela Schifrin won her third gold medal by taking the women's slalom Wednesday morning, her first gold in 12 years, her fourth medal overall. Team USA's Ben Ogden and Gus Schumacher won an historic cross-country skiing silver in the men's team competition, the USA's first medal in men's cross-country skiing. And the USA men's hockey teams play Sweden in the quarterfinals in a few minutes at 3:10. Looking ahead to Wednesday, just one high school basketball game. It's 8 and 10 Anderson Prep at 9 and 11 Elwood at 7:30. But there is a big one on Thursday as number 2 Oak Hill takes on Marion. First time those teams have met since 2017. The Eagles haven't beaten the Giants in 23 years. We will preview that one with Scott Hunt of the Marion Chronicle Tribune. And do some college basketball on Wednesday in D1. Butler's at Georgetown. Indiana State hosts Northern Iowa. Evansville's at UIC. Purdue Fort Wayne goes to Northern Kentucky. And Valpo welcomes Bradley. But the big one locally Wednesday is in Division III, where Anderson is at Bluffton with a chance to win the Heartland Conference. The 15-9 Ravens are tied with Transylvania, which hosts Hanover on Wednesday evening, the final day of the regular season in Division III. Bluffton is 9-15. In NAIA, number 3 Indiana Wesleyan hosts 5-21 Marion, and 13-3 Spring Arbor goes to 18-8 Taylor. Same thing on the women's side, where Marion's already clinched the Crossroads. They go to Marion to face number 5 Indiana Wesleyan, while Taylor hosts Spring Arbor in its regular season finale. And the Heartland, 15-9 Anderson hosts 11-13 Bluffton at 7. The Ravens will be the 3 seed in the upcoming HCAC tournament. In the MAC, Ball State looks to keep pace with leading Miami ahead of Saturday's showdown with the Redhawks. The 21-5 Cardinals are in Buffalo on Wednesday to take on the 2-22 Bulls Wednesday at 6. Also locally in D1, Butler hosts Creighton, and Oakland is at Purdue Fort Wayne. By the way, I hope to have Cade back on Friday's podcast to talk about the Ball State women as they go to Miami for a big one. Also later in the week, we'll be talking about some girls basketball, and we will have our state finals pairings for boys wrestling. Thank you so much for listening. My friends and I will be back tomorrow. The Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media. And I love Susie. Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media, and I love Susie.